So welcome to conference this week, all of you in our extended family. We are continuing our studies of the bandhas, and the book that we've been reading is by Desikachar, The Heart of Yoga. We are on chapter 8. Actually, I was reading to you from chapter 8. I hope everyone gets a chance this week to catch up with us and at least begin that chapter. In this chapter, Desikachar talks about what is yoga. So some of my beautiful students out here tell me, what does Desikachar have to say, or maybe what do you have to say? What is yoga?
Union.
Yes, that is the right answer. Yoga, Desikachar says, is union, it's change, it's moving into our possibility. Yoga is really about us constantly trying to move or bring ourselves into the best version of who we are. And so last week I asked you guys to ask yourself a question as a yoga practitioner. As a yoga practitioner, this is a very, in my opinion, is an incredibly important question. What was it? Now that I laid it out for you.
How do you show up for life?
Yeah. How do you show up for life? It's really, I say this, I guess I try to say this in as many ways as possible as your teacher. The time we spend on our mat, we're going to spend a good hour and a half today doing primary series of Ashtanga yoga. And what it's all really about is how you take that hour and a half as training and how you show up for life every day. That's what this practice is really always giving us. And so if I then review the last few months or weeks of our teachings, it's really been about that, even though we're talking about lower abdominal muscles and pelvic floors and perineal muscles, and about this, as the other practices call it, your core muscles, your core work. It really, for us, is about how we take care of our physical body to keep it healthy. It winds up being the major player in how we take care of our energetic body and make this a pranic practice. And as well, it winds up also being at the heart of how we bring consciousness to our practice. And this becomes, for each one of us, a movement and meditation all together. And lastly, when we're really moving from this place, our form within our movement, it also becomes a beautiful art form, something that's absolutely beautiful for us, that we can continue to express that beauty every time we come to our yoga mats. So last week I talked about, and I want you to please try to do this week, is as your teacher, like, how do I help you make yoga what it is, which is to have this be something that really helps you continue to push yourself in healthy ways, not in unhealthy ways, but to push yourself in ways that move you towards your own possibility. Because I think for all of us, whether we're looking at what's happening on our yoga mat or in our lives, we can get stagnant. We feel like we plateau, or we feel like we're just in the grind, you know, as they say, or on autopilot. The practice is a place for us to really pull ourselves from that and be in this place of growth and movement, change, possibility. So one of the things I said is, let's improve how we do our bandhas. Let's not get stagnant or complacent with that. And in that, we talked about right before you go into a transition last week, that we would hold those muscles and then try to move more consciously or more beautifully from our core center and extend out into the very edges of our body. We talked about that last week. Did anyone feel like they made any progress? This is when you just go, yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll try that again this week, right? I'll remind you, I'll give you some directives during class, but something kind of beautiful came to me this week when I was preparing for the teachings. One of my dearest friends gave me a plant, which was special because it was a plant that her mother had had her whole, for a large part of her life. She remembered this plant, and when her mother passed away, she brought the plant home to live with her, and it really reminded her of her mother. And now, all the years I've been going to her home, I just love this plant. I mean, to see it, my mom just said too, she's like, it really is a very beautiful plant. I mean, talk about nature and its beauty. So we were talking a couple weeks ago, and she said, oh, I can clip off some of the leaves and we can grow one for you. And I was there this past weekend, and I saw her clipping the leaves, and I'm like, oh good, those are for me. And she's like, no. And she gave me a plant that she had clipped years ago, that she had grown from the original plant, that I have to say, you know, like I said, I've been going to her house and admiring this plant for years, but I was so moved by the gesture that she had given me this plant. It was very precious to her. So I took it home and I put it in its special place, and I was looking at it the next day. It was the afternoon time and the sun was coming through. And the leaves, it's a begonia, which is funny because on Sunday we decided that it was a geranium. And so the joke was this was a geranium plant. But as it turns out, it's a begonia. Who knew? But it has these beautiful, you guys know begonia plants? Trish does. Big, beautiful leaves. And what is very striking about it is that the veins that run through it are like amazingly lit up and beautiful. So you just see like the life force within this leaf reaching out into the edges of the leaf. And when the sun comes through, it literally looks like the sun is coming through this leaf, through the veins of the leaf. So I took some pictures that'll be on our Facebook and on our website, and Tamara will probably put it on your YouTube as well. But when I saw it, guess what I saw? I saw the Vitruvian man. I told you we would see him everywhere. And there he was in the leaf, stretching his arms out into the very edges of the leaf, saying all the things that you guys said: symmetry, balance, health, vibrancy, a life. And I thought of, when I saw the leaf too, I thought of, you could see right where the stem was, where the light began, was this like tiny little circle that went in through like a big vein and then into these smaller veins into the edges. And I thought of the nadi system, you know, or I'm studying right now our circulatory system. And I thought, God, what an amazing miracle photosynthesis is, to see the light through this tree, see the miracle of it, and at the same time see the amazing beauty and possibility of beauty in nature. And I thought, I saw us, I saw our human bodies, and how much more beautiful even that the bodies that we have are, and what we're trying to do with our bodies in yoga, both physically and also energetically, and moving towards our own beauty in this. And then I also thought you guys will love this part. You know, when someone gives you a precious gift of this plant that was theirs for a long time and beloved and everything, when they first gave it to me, I thought, oh my gosh, I hope I don't kill it, right? You guys must have thought I had that thought in my mind. So what did I do? I got the directions. I'm like, okay, how much water does it need? How much sun does it need? You know, and we know these things, like if one of the leaves starts to turn a little brown, I need a plant doctor, you know, or I need to do something different. And again, I just thought of the metaphor of us and what we're doing on our yoga mats and in our life. Such a beautiful example of, you know, when we come to our yoga mats, it's a place for us to extend into the very beings of our body and create this vibrancy and this beautiful stuff that keeps us alive. But it's also the place where we can witness when the soil is too dry, when we can witness if we need more sunlight, where we can witness if one of our little leaves is turning a little brown. You know, it's a place where we can really observe that. The yogi is observant, and you know, and take care of ourselves in that way. So the teachings this week are the same, where we're going to really focus on the bandhas and how we're going to reach, like the leaf, into the most beautiful edges of our being. And in that, I want you guys to think today of the miracle of this plant, of a leaf, of photosynthesis, and really the miracle of our human body that we were given. You know, in this tradition, we would refer to it as an avatar. It's just a frame that we were given in order for our soul to have an experience. You know, we need a frame for our soul to be housed and to have the experience. So, you know, we take care of our frame, and in doing that, what we do, we're also taking care of our soul. Every time that we come to our yoga mat, it is the place where we can continue to create beauty, can continue to become the most best, beautiful version of ourselves. So I want you guys to see yourself, number one, as that beautiful miracle. And number two, I want you to have just a lot of gratitude and love for the fact that you guys found this practice. I mean, of all the things that we could do, right? I look around the room and I think, you know, of Carol. You could have turned right or you could have turned left. But don't you think that this yoga would be on your path? Yeah? I do. I look around the room and I see your lives. I was just talking to Pam before class started, and I thought, you know, we find it because we're supposed to. And when it resonates with you on such a deep level, we have it for a lifetime. There's no prerequisites to start it, and there's no expiration date. By the time you're 60, you won't be able to do yoga anymore. That's not how it works. You guys, we get to do this as long as we're breathing and as long as we have a floor. So, so as much as we see this beautiful body as our miracle, I really want you guys today to say, like, thank you for this gift of yoga, because this is a place where I will continue to grow and become beautiful for the rest of my life. Namaste. The quote for this week says, yoga is about changing, evolving, becoming our best, a powerful practice to stretch, to become our best. It's a lifelong practice both on and off the mat. Jon Kabat-Zinn said this, wherever you go, there you are. So may this practice make us the best version of that wherever we are. Namaste.